Arsenal return to Premier League action this weekend, taking on Crystal Palace, looking to make it a fourth game in a row in which they've bettered the result from the previous season. A potential 10-point net gain from that prior campaign is up for grabs for Mikel Arteta. We're going to talk about the likelihoods of a Premier League title win, some of the key points from the season so far, with a very special guest in today's Arsenal News Show special. Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys and girls for another episode of what is indeed the Arsenal News Show special. I'm very happy to be joined today by Mr. Jordan Jarrett-Bryan. How you doing, man? You good? You well?
Good evening, brother. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you indeed. I think I saw you in the Arsenal press lounge recently, didn't I? You were in attendance. It was end of last season?
It was. What was the game?
Was it the PSG Champions League game? Was it a champion?
No,
I feel like it was an evening game.
It might have been the round before that.
Real Madrid, potentially.
Maybe, yes, maybe.
It was definitely an evening game. And then, of course, on the TalkSport show that we've done together as well.
Right. Inside Gooners?
Inside Gooners, yes.
Right.
Yes. But you're in the different world of Arsenal podcasting now. How many DMs have you got in the last, let's say, a week about what's going on?
Oh man, I've been bombarded by friends and those that don't even know me. But so I'm no longer on Forever Arsenal, a podcast I was on for 5 years on AFTV. But there's been some changes. A few of the guys that were on the pod decided to leave AFTV. And I simply had a decision to make as to whether to stay with a new lineup on Forever Arsenal or try and take a gamble and risk with the guys that had left. And I decided to take a gamble. And we started up Loose Cannons. So if you've not checked it out yet, go subscribe. It's on YouTube and all your audio platform outlets. 3 of us plus a guest each week. We had our 3rd episode out this morning. And listen, Tom, it's going so well.
You had a couple of listeners on the first episode, just a couple.
We had one or two. Yeah, one or two. One or two. The response has been like, "Whoa!" I don't even know much about numbers and YouTube and stuff. So my metric of what is a big number. I'm not asking and James, is 150? Is that good? They're like, mate, for a first podcast in the first 3-4 days.
Unbelievable, man.
150,000 is really, really good. So big up all the people that have come over. But to your question, Tom, I see the videos that people are making about, AFTV, the split, or Turkish Thieves, the truth, James Jordan follow. I'm like, I wish there was a really interesting, salacious, it's just, listen, things happen in any job you do at some point. You move on.
Yeah, we just want to know when the charity boxing match is going to be. That's all we need to know.
Listen, we're looking for. Involving me, I couldn't tell you. I can tell you, never. The others, I couldn't tell you. But no, from my point of view, Tom, just to kind of let your viewers know that may be interested.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for the record, I didn't ask you.
I know.
You're more than welcome to stay.
You've got a following, so I wanted to let your following know that maybe Listen, from my point of view, there's no beef. Me and Rob are still cool. I wish the boys on Forever Arsenal all the best. There's no beef. It's just that we try something different. We're trying something different, and life goes on. So from my point of view, I'll talk for me. There's no drama. No drama.
Look, I've been there. I remember when I left a Birdcat Wonderland a long time ago. It was kind of the first podcast that ever gave me a platform, and things change. Life moves on. You go on to do different things. I left 101 Great Goals to join Football London and the Mirror. Things change. It happens.
So Campbell left Tottenham and he joined Arsenal. Sometimes you want to just.
You use that example, not me. But you're right. Things sometimes surprise. But I have to say, massive congratulations to all 3 of you. I rate all 3 of you incredibly highly. And think it's a fantastic job that you all 3 are doing. So, listeners, if you want a podcast to listen to, I don't think there's many Arsenal podcasts out there. So if you are looking for one,
there's only a couple. So there's not much to pick from.
Loose Cannons is where you can find Jordan and James and Turkish, of course, and a guest every single week as well, which I quite like. I love the dynamic of kind of switching things up a little bit every week as well. well. So that's
man,
quite
it's good
cool.
fun. Twice a week, go check it out.
Twice a week. There you go. Busy guys. Busy indeed. Let's bring the conversation into the real world of Arsenal and away from football podcasting drama, and talk really about what has been so far a pretty joyous campaign from an Arsenal perspective. You know, Arsenal have won every single game this season, bar two pretty big games, of course, but in the context of the season, I think in the previous campaigns, you know, Arsenal, who sat second, didn't lose any games to the team that finished first, and it had absolutely zero bearing on their capabilities of winning the title. So, indeed, being where they are right now, 3 points ahead of Manchester City, 4 points ahead of Liverpool, and sitting joint top of the Champions League table as well. Not something that either Liverpool or City either can say themselves. Just in more general terms, Jordan, how have you found the start of this season?
I found the starts the season, Tom, overall a really positive one. I don't think when you outline the stats and the facts of what you've just done there, you can't say it's not been a brilliant start to the season. I think when you factor in some of the games we've had this season so far as well, I don't think you can see it in any other way beyond a brilliant start. But I emphasize that word start. It's a good start. It's a beginning. It's a long season with a lot of games and a lot of competitions to kind of go through and a lot of pressure to get through as well. So there's been some games overall where the football hasn't been particularly to my liking. Now, those that follow me know my views, Tom, and I'm in the minority of one here, and I accept it. I'm one of those fans, Tom. I'm not one of these just win the title by any means. I'm not that person. I expect when you have the resources that a club like Arsenal have, the heritage and history that we've had under Arsene Wenger, although I don't disrespect the heritage under George Graham as well, which is a different brand of football.
Yes.
But I grew up, I know about the George Graham brand of football. I was old enough to be part of that era too. But the bulk of my Arsenal supporting life has come under Arsene Wenger. I'm used to a particular type of meal, right? I mean, used to a certain type of dinner. Yeah. I know what winning with style and good football looks like. So when I hear Arsenal, I pose a question to everybody: would you take the option of winning every single game this season 1-0, or roll the dice and see what Mikel Arteta can cook up this season? I'm taking the latter, and people think I'm crazy, but I would, because I just think football as a fan is more than just about wins, and we're not Tottenham. Okay. We've won 3 Premier League titles. If we hadn't won a Premier League title, maybe I'd be. We've won 3 titles in the Premier League. So for me, I have to enjoy what I'm seeing. I have to. Football's about. I don't want to go over this week and just be bored of a 1-0 win. Now, don't get me wrong. Over the course of a season, you do need those 1-0 wins. Those 1-0 wins are the backbone of winning a title. I just don't expect it to be all the time, and I will give passes where I think it's applicable. So Fulham 1-0 away. The football wasn't particularly great in that game, but first game back off the international break, I'll give them a pass.
That's the only 1-0 win we've had all season.
Well, it is, but even some of the games we've won, I don't think we've been particularly brilliant in our football. So the overall point I'm making is that despite having a really good start, it's a non-negotiable if you're an Arsenal manager with the resources you have, the finances you have, and the history of what most of us have watched under this club, under Arsene Wenger. I think good football is a prerequisite to being an Arsenal manager. So would I give the title back if we win it with 38 1-0 wins? Of course not. But for me, I won't. I think some clubs can get away with that because they haven't had success. They haven't got the resources. So you got to do what you got to do. We have. So there's no excuse to not give me wins and good football. So long way of answering the question. I'm happy with the season so far. Start.
Do you feel as though, from what you're seeing, I mean, 4-0 over Atletico Madrid, we scored 5 against Leeds, 3 against Forest, 2 in Bilbao, tough place, really difficult ground to go to, 2 good goals. Do you feel like what you've seen so far that there is signs that we're going to go to the place where you're going to start enjoying it?
Games coming up?
No, I mean just more in general. Like, do you feel from what you've seen so far that it's not quite the dinner you want to be eating right now, and you want something tastier? But do you get the signs that the ingredients are there, that you're going to get that meal coming up?
I do, Tom. I think that I've seen enough games this season where the football has been to my liking to feel like once we get into our attacking groove, because I don't think we're in our defensive groove for sure. I don't think we're in our attacking groove, but I've seen enough to make me believe that the football will get consistently better. The Newcastle game, we were 1-0 down at half time, but in that first half, the football was brilliant.
Yeah.
The West Ham game, I believe, the football was really, really good. Atletico, really, but we won 3-0 against not the Forest game, one of our early wins, one of our big early wins. It was a big win, but the football wasn't particularly great. And I think we can't conflate just because you score lots of goals, the football is good. Like some of the goals were quite scrappy, but I have seen enough of what I'm looking for to make me believe that Mikel Arteta, come the end of the season, can serve up a title with good, with good football. I've seen enough of that. I think the ingredients player-wise are there. I think he's got the players that can play some really good football. I don't think we've worked out the configuration right yet of our midfield as well. I don't think our midfield is doing a job. And I think we've got some brilliant players there. But I think that our defense being so good, I think it's bailing us out a little bit. I think because we know we're so good at the back, we can afford to have this period where we're working things out. And you just got to hope that in 3, 4, 5 weeks' time, because I always give it 10 games. 10 Premier League games is my first marker to judge. After 10 games, I judge then. And I have faith that after 10 games, the defense, which is kind of the backbone of getting us through, by that 10th game, we would have got into our midfield and attacking groove. So, yeah, I am confident that we will get there. But for me, Arteta has to get there. He has to deliver both, in my opinion.
What would you prefer?
Lots of boring wins or attacking football and finishing second? I mean,
why are you thinking about it, man?
It's a loaded question because for me, it's not
even loaded. It's a really simple
question. Either or, Tom. It's like, why have we got to pick?
No, we don't. But I'm putting you this crazy hypothetical scenario.
I plead the fifth. For me, I think it gives top managers with all the resources, like it gives them an out when you ask fans either or. If we supported Stoke, it's a fair question. If we supported West Ham, it's a fair question.
No titles, bro. Like...
Even if you support Spurs, that question's fair. But when you're a top team that spends big money, I'm sorry, you have to give the fans something to be entertained by on top of the wins. Let me tell you, if I was a football player, my vibe would be different. Just give me the wins and the medals. I'll just give me the medals, Tom. Because as a player, win. I get it.
Yeah.
As a fan, when we win the Premier League title, do you get a win bonus? Do you get a trophy?
Yeah.
Do you get a medal?
Yeah.
You get a win bonus when Arsenal win the Premier League title.
I don't. No, the players do.
Exactly. So do you get a medal, a trophy,
a
goal bonus?
I'll make one.
There you go.
I don't know. You're right. I get where you go. Look, I don't get those things.
If I don't get any of those things, I'm a fan. Fine. If I don't get those things, at least give me memories.
You know what I do get though, and actually you could argue that these days you kind of do get a medal, mate, because when you buy next season's shirt, you're going to be the ones that have the gold Premier League patch on your shoulder. And that to me, if I'm rocking up to my vets 11-a-side on a Wednesday night going football training, and I'm rocking up wearing the current Arsenal kit with a gold Premier League badge on my shoulder, that is kind of my medal to me, man. And they might turn around and go, oh, think about all those set pieces that you scored to get your title. And I'm like, oh, look at my shoulder.
Give me memories. Give me goals. Give me
you just battered Atletico Madrid 4-0, giving them their worst defeat in a European competition ever. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I need more of that. And I think as Arsenal fans, we shouldn't be compromising on, we shouldn't be desperate. I know it's been 20 odd years, but we're not Tottenham. We've won titles.
Yeah.
If it was our first ever title, I get it. Just win it by any means.
Let me throw this to you from James then, because James says, why are we questioning our style and not discussing the opponent's style against us? If teams were not so fearful of us, they would come out to play and we would then be more entertaining.
I mean, it's not really on us to question the opponent's style. The opponent will do what they feel they need to do.
Yeah.
Like you do.
It has an effect on us, though.
It does, but then it's on us. And this is why I mentioned the point about having more resources and money than everybody else. The whole point of spending big money on players is to find a way to break through those low blocks. Again, I keep picking on Stoke, but I'm picking up Wigan. Wigan haven't got the personnel. Wigan haven't got the finances to have the personnel to be able to come out and attack Arsenal. They don't have that money and resource. We do. So if you have those resources, what's the saying? Those that have more should do more. We have more than West Ham. We have more than Crystal Palace. So I expect us to do more. It's not good enough just to say, oh, they bank in and they put 10 men behind the ball. Find a way. There's a reason you're getting paid, Mikel Arteta, more money than Glasner. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, look, I would say we have spent this year £100 million less than Man City, £100 million less than Liverpool, and we might talk about how much Arsenal have spent, and it's always a debate about how much Arsenal have spent. But the reality is, if you want to be at the top, if you want to be competing, if you want to have a chance, you have to spend that amount of money. And not only that, but Arteta, obviously, when he inherited the club, inherited a team that he would then drag to an FA Cup win with the help of Aubameyang, of course, leading that line. But the reality is that team was a fractured mess. It had characters in it that needed to be changed. And the squad, that squad that we had was never going to go anywhere. And that's why we had to make wholesale changes to that group.
I'm with you.
And I think that when you look at now that if the style is something that is worthy of discussion, and I'm worried that people might misinterpret you, Jordan. And what I think people might I know. I'd like to say that I'm not misinterpreting you because and that's why I asked you the question about, do you see the ingredients at the moment? Because I think that's the key question here, is that I think I absolutely empathize with somebody, any fans desire, want, desperation to see entertaining football, and particularly from an Arsenal point of view, because it is identity, it is a DNA, it is something that we have been incredibly proud of. It's something that's attracted big players. It's things that have, had a Wenger left early, probably would have attracted the likes of Pep Guardiola to come and manage Arsenal. It has weight to it. I always, however, would, and I think you do too, prioritize the silverware. For me, that I still think that is without question has to be the number. You can have a very close second, close second. It's not binary one or the other.
Tom, you're being kind to me. But the truth for me is,
I'm trying to help.
You are, no, and I appreciate it. But they're on par. They're just on par for me. You have to bring.
That's big.
Like I said, I'm not going to give the title back. If we win 38 games 1-0.
Well, clearly they're not. If you wouldn't give the title back, they're not on par for you then.
That's a fair point. I mean, I listen, it's sport. So sport, I get it. The binary nature of sport is to win. It's to win, right? Fine. So if it's a binary decision of win versus not, I'd rather
I'm never
win.
a fan of binary decisions, as the listeners know. We talk about the binary nature of sport and I hate it. But
No. And I get why many people in the comments and people that listen to me are like, what are you talking about? This is sport. Just win. So I get it.
Yeah.
So if you're asking me, would I rather win or lose? I'd rather win, right? Fine. I'm just saying there's a reason why certain teams and certain athletes across sports dominate and others don't. It's because some teams have more things, have more resources, have more gifts, have more talents, have more finances to be able to achieve those things. And I'm just saying, if you have that advantage, then I expect more from you. I expect more. And I think that because it's been maybe because it's been 20 years, won a title, our desperation is so high. We would take a trophy by any means. And I'm saying, no, we deserve better. Listen, as Arsenal fans,
it's so interesting. I genuinely find the point of view very interesting.
We pay a lot of money to go to the Emirates. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. Entertain me.
The reason why I find it interesting is because the thing is, and the difference between me and many of the listeners is I know you. And the thing is that, like, I know this is coming from a really genuine place. And you genuinely believe it's not. You can tell when sometimes opinions kind of form artificially. I know that you genuinely want to see really entertaining football from Arsenal as an absolute priority in your mind.
And I started by saying I accept. I'm in a group of one. I accept that. I accept that no one would agree with me. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. I'm just saying, as Arsenal fans, we should expect more. And just because it's been 2 decades, that doesn't mean we should lower what we pay a lot of money. We're football fans. I want to see goals. I want to see 1-2s. I want to see flicks. I want to see good football.
You see some of these little flick to Gyökeres? That was beautiful. But Look, the thing is, I think that they are doing that. I don't think you're giving this team, for me, enough credit now for what they are doing. I think what we're seeing this season is a team, of course, that have got 8 new signings. That predominantly we've seen at least 3, sometimes 4 of those signings starting most games. And and not only that, but within the first 8, 9, or is it 8? I think 8 Premier League games this season so far, 9 maybe. We've lost so many key players. Saka out for half of that. Ødegaard out for half of that. Havertz out for all of that. We've lost so many key players already in this first part of the season, and we're integrating new stars. And despite all of those mitigating circumstances, Arsenal find themselves top of the table, having, I think, made Manchester City look the most ordinary they've ever looked, the most feared they've ever looked. And we're unfortunate not to come out with more than that draw. I think we had a really good first half at Anfield, and unfortunately the manager, in my opinion, cost us in the second half with the lack of proactive changes that he didn't make. And then I look at the performance at Man United, and we were lucky to come away with a win in that game, in my opinion, as well. And that's probably our worst performance of the season, was the opening day at Old Trafford. Outside of those examples, I think we've seen so many encouraging signs from this team. I think the Fulham game, Fulham are a team that really do at home, hadn't lost a single game at home all season, and attack opposition sides and come out. They set up completely different to any other game they've played this season. And we had to fight to break them down. And we created some real good openings that Gyökeres had 3 or 4 chances in that game that he probably should have done better with, at least 1, arguably 2. And I just think that there are, and obviously the Saka penalty incident as well, which was for me definitely a penalty and arguably could have opened the doors even further. You don't agree? You don't think it was a pen? Shaking his head. Tell me. We've got another point of contention.
I don't. I just feel like
knee before the ball. Knee before ball.
No. There's definitely contact on the knee. The question for me is, has he taken his knee out? To tackle someone, you're going to make contact. You're going to make contact.
Yeah, of course.
But has the contact taken Saka's knee out?
Yes, that's why he flies 180 degrees into the air. So, for me, yes.
I'm a fair fan. If that's the other way around.
That's why you're here.
Well, yeah, and this is my view when things go against my team. My first thing is, if it's the other way around, would I have the same thought? If it's the other way around, I'm raging. And that's given. I'm raging. So I'm just being consistent. The problem was
fair enough. If you would be fuming if it was the other way around, I can't.
The issue, Tom. This is the issue, Tom. For me, it's not a penalty. The bigger issue, though, is it shouldn't have gone to VAR. The referee gave it. It's not a clear and obvious error.
Yeah.
That's the issue for me. It's not a penalty, but it shouldn't have gone to VAR.
No.
Same
as the Gyökeres at Newcastle.
That should go to VAR.
It shouldn't go to VAR. But the Gyökeres at Newcastle, it shouldn't go to VAR. They're re-refereeing the game. That's what they're doing. Nah, he's mad. So we agree there, at least. I did. When I was like, I was saying to G, my wife, I was like, I got Jordan coming on tonight. He's, I think we're pretty in the same head. No, it turns out I can't stand this guy. I think we're going to wrap the show up there. No.
I'm just honest. What can I say?
I respect it 100%. I think that when it comes to kind of like this season, though, and where we're heading, that game against Atleti on Tuesday, I thought Atleti actually played well for a team that just lost 4-0. I thought they actually showed a really good account of themselves and threatened Arsenal more than most teams have this season. And at half time, I was still pretty chill. I was saying to some of the guys in the press room, like, I'm comfortable. I think Arsenal will win this game. I didn't think we'd win by the scoreline that we did, but I thought we were heading in that direction. Atleti had threat. There were, obviously Raya made that mistake, which was an opening that shouldn't have happened. But there were other moments where they were kind of looking threatening. And because teams, when they try and attack Arsenal, that's usually their Achilles heel in any game. If a team look like they want to attack us, it tends to be the moments where actually Arsenal start to get the space they need, particularly players like Eze, to influence the game in a really positive way. Right. What have you made of Mr. Zubimendi this season in the City?
He's the chef.
New anchor.
He's the Michelin star chef. He's like the new Santi, then Xabi Alonso. He's the chef. He's the conductor. I love him. Yeah. He was probably my favorite signing. I mean, Eze was something that I really wanted from a more personal thing, but from a footballing point of view, I think Zuba was my favorite signing this summer. I love those kinds of players. I love those players that conduct. I love players that can ball. I love players that know how to run the game, pull the strings, dictate. And I don't think he's even got warmed up yet.
No.
I think he's had some really good games, but I don't think we'll see the best of him until the back end of the season. Because I think in that position, a conductor, I think it takes time to understand the tempo of the game, the physicality of the game, the positioning is different to what he's used to in Spain. I think it might take him a little while to get up to speed. But if this is Zubimendi at the start of his Arsenal career, then damn, I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes down the line. So yeah, big fan of Zubimendi. I think I've just seen his class, absolute class. I love him.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. It's one of those things where you have kind of these thoughts and you mention them in passing on podcasts mainly, and then months later, those kind of little comments that you made get vindicated, and you're like, I really wish I'd pushed that point further months ago. It's like if you win a bet and then you're like, if only I'd put like 10 quid more, how much you could have won instead. And it's just those. And the thing I like Zubimendi is that I love that description of the chef, because he is, I don't know what it is. We've got a lot of cooking analogies going on this evening.
We have. I'm hungry. I'm not at dinner yet, Tom.
No,
I'm starving.
So I really think that there is potential for that midfield to I mean, when Odegaard comes back, and it sucks he got injured, because I think we were starting to see him cook a little bit more as well, and he really was flying back. It gives Eze a chance, of course, to integrate a little bit more successfully. The bigger question, I think, is, and I've just, by the way, put the chat into the question, into the chat. If you guys start to throw some in, and James kind of picks up on this, he says, "Would love to know your thoughts on Gyökeres's penalty shout," which we kind of touched upon already, but it does link into the question of Gyökeres and where you're at with him. A, was he who you wanted? B, if he wasn't, why not? And C, how have you made of his performances?
That one as well. I'm that one. I've kind of gone back and forth on that one, because there's clear contact, right? He's taking him out, right? He's taking him out. But again, defenders and keepers have to be allowed to be able to make contact to win the ball. And I think the question ultimately was Pope's action preventing Gyökeres from a genuine goal-scoring opportunity? And I probably lean towards just yes, but I don't think it's as clear-cut as Arsenal fans are making it out to be. There's going to be contact. And from what I can remember, he won the ball first.
Gyökeres touched the ball onto Pope's foot, and then he took out Gyökeres. So it was Gyökeres touch ball, Pope touch ball, Pope take out Gyökeres. That was the order.
I think it's a penalty, but I don't think it's an obvious penalty is again being made.
It's one of those where VAR shouldn't get involved.
No. And I just like I said, we have to be very careful about this thing of, but there's contact. He made contact, and it's like they're not invisible. Like as long as he's not taking him out, preventing him getting to the ball. Yeah. At some point, there's going to be contact. So we have to just be careful, because, again, if that's the other way around, we're saying we have a different argument. So I'm trying to be consistent. I think that one is a penalty, but I don't think it's as obvious as the fan base were making it out to be.
And on Gyökeres himself, obviously.
You're not going to like me, man. You're not going to invite me back on.
I've been pretty critical. I said this morning on our show, if I was being honest, I expected more at this point, but I'm willing to be patient.
I think Gyökeres is a very good centre forward, and I think he'll score goals. I don't have any doubts about him scoring goals. So I don't think he's whack. I don't think he's crap. I don't think he's an awful buy. I just don't think he's elite. And we did the Loose Cannons podcast. I can't remember the podcast. Go now, but we're on the podcast.
We did Forever Arsenal. Oh no, hold on.
It's awkward. We did the pod the other day, and my point with him has always been he's not elite, right? But James made the point on the pod that do we necessarily need an elite striker to get us over the line? And I agree. I don't think we need a world-class Haaland to get us over the line. What I think we need, which I have doubts about what he can deliver on, is we need someone that can make the difference. I don't think we need a 25 goal a season striker, but we need a striker that can make the difference in those games where we're not playing particularly well, we're under the cosh, but can you dig us out? Can you just do something and dig us out? Now, at the moment, we've not needed him to dig us out per se, but there will be games this season where things aren't going our way. I actually think, fun enough, this weekend's game could be one of those games where it's 75 minutes, 70 minutes. They're not playing particularly well, and you just need your striker to just do something. Just do something. You've not had a good game either, but an elite striker can just go from having a really meh game to just bang. Oh, wow. Where'd that come from? And I'm just not sure he's that guy. I think he works hard. I think it's a fact to say that him being on the front line is occupying defenders, which enables Saka and Martinelli to be able to beat their guys one-on-one. So I'm not here to say that he's had zero impact. He has had an impact, and he's got 5-6 goals. He's not crap. But is he the guy? Is he the guy? I'm not sure. I would go as far as to say, if you look at our 11, if you look at our 11, Tom, he's probably the weakest link. He's probably the weakest link.
I think that it would be between him and
left.
If you're starting Martinelli and Trossard, you probably say it's probably the left. If it's Eza, it's Gyökeres. If you're starting Eza on the left, Ødegaard at 10, then Gyökeres is the weakest.
And I want to be clear.
I don't think that's controversial. I don't think that's controversial. I don't think that's controversial at all.
And I'm an Arsenal fan. I hope he bangs and proves me wrong and shuts me up. And I hope he wins us a title. This is not me wanting him to do poorly. I want him to score 50 goals and do well for us. I'm just being honest about what I see. I don't get blinded by 104 goals in 2 seasons in the Portuguese league. I'm sorry, I don't. Because in that league, you can bully yourself through a lot of games. You can outpace a lot of players who are not on your level. Let's be honest. The Championship is probably akin to the Portuguese league. If we bought a player from the Championship for 50, 60 million, would we be happy about that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about how many goals Ivan Toney scored for Brentford. He's probably on a similar level to Ivan Toney.
See, I probably think I think Toney's probably better than him. I don't know about now because he's in the Saudi league.
At 27, Toney at 27. I'm just checking how old Ivan Toney is now. He's 29. Yeah, fair enough.
I'm taking Toney. But listen,
27 over Gyökeres at 27.
But what I will say is that the goals he scored the other night against Atletico were well deserved. He earned those goals. They were horrible goals. He's horrible to watch. He's clunky. His first touch is a bit. It's like a caravan at times. He's not good to watch. But the goals that he got were earned. Right place, right time. He worked hard, ran the channels, and I was happy for him. Very happy for him. But if you're asking me what I think of him, I think he's an Aston Villa striker.
I was speaking to a colleague the other day. I won't say who they are because it's probably not fair because it was a private conversation. But what they said was, in 2 years' time, Arsenal are buying another striker.
I agree,
and I couldn't really disagree at this point in time. And it's still, as I say, it's so early and things can change. But if I was to have to give an opinion right at this moment, it would be I can see Arsenal going for, somebody in 2 years' time, because and that in part is because of he is 27 as well. It's not just because obviously his performances so far. And I really hope that we find that what he's doing outside of scoring goals, which is because he is playing off the last man, and we haven't really had a centre forward to do that, he is taking attention away from the wide areas. And so Saka is getting more space to operate, and Martinelli and Trossard are as well. And so that is creating a different vibe. But is he Arsenal's Erling Haaland? No, he's not Arsenal's Erling Haaland. And I said it in the summer. I said, we need to sign a centre forward this summer, but I guarantee you, whoever we sign on the market that is available, they are not going to be Arsenal's answer to Erling Haaland, because that player isn't out there. I liked Hugo Ekitike a lot. I really liked it. And I think that prior to Isak's arrival, he was on for a really good season.
Yeah.
But, I mean, tell me I'm wrong there. Did you see anybody else that you felt?
There were a few. I think Haaland's like an outlier in the sense of there are no Haalands out there.
But if we say like there's a gap between Gyökeres and Haaland, was there anybody significantly closer to him in that spectrum?
I think... maybe not closer, but there's a couple of strikers that I would have looked at that I think would have been around the same kind of price and could have done. So again, people laugh at me. So first of all, Ekitike, 100%, 100%. I would have gone for him.
Yeah.
And I know this person's not having a particularly great season now, but I think Watkins would have been better than Gyökeres. Is he
You've lost
world
me a bit
class?
there.
Is huh?
You've lost me a bit there. You've lost me a bit.
Let me plead my case.
Sure. I mean, he's got 3 times less goals than Gyökeres this season. But yeah, go on.
Hang on. He's a team 3 times as inferior as Arsenal. So there's that. Is Ollie Watkins elite? An elite striker? No, he's not. Is he world class? Nowhere near it. Does he miss chances? Yeah, he does. Is he having a stinker at Villa at the moment? 100%. But in an Arsenal team, I think he runs the channels just as well. I think his finishing is on par. Sorry, I've got a cold here, so my nose keeps running.
You're fine, mate. You're good. we respect it.
Forgive me. He's got 2 solid years in the Premier League under his belt of scoring 15 plus goals. I'd take 15 Premier League goals from a striker right now, minimum. I think he gives that an Arsenal team. I don't think he's significantly, or if at all, worse than Gyökeres. He's in a worse team than Gyökeres is. So you put him in our team, I think he scores more goals. The Osimhen thing is interesting because I think he's an upgrade on Gyökeres, but from what we're told and reports are, the money he and his agent wanted was just insane.
Who's that? Sorry, I missed that. Just
Osimhen.
Yeah, well, this is a really interesting point. So I was quite anti Osimhen in the summer, predominantly because of that. That the wages I heard that he was demanding from a Premier League club.
Crazy money.
Remember, it's not. You don't look at what he's on now at Galatasaray. That's not what he would have been paid if he had gone to the Premier League. It would have been different.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of what you're able to ask for if you're moving to those clubs. And he is on. I mean, I just did a quick Google, and he's on 50 million euros a year, according to Google. So, and I imagine that comes from
even the ballpark.
Yeah, it's in the ballpark of 50 million euros. So you're about 12 million pounds a year. So that's silly money.
That's crazy money, man. So I can
Galatasaray.
Yeah. So the club didn't want to get involved in that. I get that. Look, I don't want to poo-poo Gyökeres because, like I said at the start, I think he's a good striker. If I didn't think that, I would say I think he's crap. I think he's a good striker.
Yeah, I do
I just don't think he's the guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's wild. I don't think that's wild at all. But I feel like we could do an entire podcast just on him. Sam, who's been a member for 59 months on the channel, says, big fan of Jordan's, not because I agree, I don't, but because of how he articulates his points. Great.
Big up, Sam. I'll take it.
That's the whole point. That's what it's about. And it shows, Sam, you can disagree with someone, you can disagree so respectfully, and that's what it's about. You know, not everyone has the ability to do that because you're mature.
Sorry as well, just quick final point on the strikers. I don't believe this idea that Liverpool had Isak wrapped up early, so that's why we couldn't have got him. If we'd have gone in for Isak seriously at the last game of the season, I think we get him.
See, I wouldn't have bought him personally for the money.
You wouldn't have bought him,
not for the money that they wanted. No, if it was like 80 to 90 million, I would think about it. But 130 million, I think Arsenal with what we invest, because we couldn't invest any more than what we did this summer because of the restrictions around us. If you're asking to swap out certain players that we signed, you know, I'm just not committed.
If you're asking me Madueke and Gyökeres or Isak, I'm taking Isak. He is elite. And I know it's hard to make the argument now.
He came off half-time injured again. It's a £130 million injury-ridden player.
So do you think he's injured? Or do you just think he's having a stinker and they just thought, book him at half-time, let's get him about for a few weeks because he's having a stinker? I don't know if I believe the injury one. But let's say he is. Hey, man,
I think you underrate the importance of Madueke's presence in this group. If that's because I think it's a really important signing. I mean, Saka gets injured again at the start of the season. Madueke comes in. Maybe we don't win the games that we won or get the points that we got when Saka was out if we hadn't have signed him. Is what I would say to that. But that's it's what it's about. Roy says, "What did Jordan think of the appointment of Andrea Berta before we signed anyone?" So not
to be honest, I only knew what the writings and the journalism that I'd consumed about him before we got him. So I can't say I knew a lot about. I'm not an expert on him. His record at Atletico, funnily enough, was very impressive. You know, they was gutted when he left them. I think the work he's done since he's joined us has been sensational. I think it's been sensational. I think if you look at not only the transfer windows, but he's locked down all of our key players now, bar Saka, in one window. In one window, this guy's locked down Saliba, Gabriel, Mars Lewis-Skelly, Ethan Ranieri. There's one more.
Gabriel. Have you said Gabriel? Saliba,
Yeah. Was
Gabriel,
it Martinelli?
Martinelli, Waneri. Dalman's just
No,
signed a professional contract.
there's somebody else.
Sorry, not professional contract, scholarship terms.
But anyway, he signed. He's
Trossard and
locked
Raya
down
have signed. Trossard and Raya both signed improved terms,
terms.
not extensions.
He's done a great job. He's doing his job. His job is to oversee
Yeah.
the squad building and the long-term future of the personnel at Arsenal Football Club. Now, if we lose Saliba next summer for whatever reason, I don't see why we would. He's insured. We're going to get 100 mil. If we lose Gabriel in the summer for whatever reason, I don't think we will. He's insured. We're going to get 100 mil. That was not happening 10 years ago. We were losing good players for free. So the fact that he's brought in good players, I think is commendable. But I've been more impressed in his, because to talk to players that are there, top players who have not won anything, and convince them, no, the good times are coming. That's a skill. That's a skill. If you're Saliba, you're thinking, I could wait to the end of the season, see how well we do, and then sign or not. But to commit himself now, I think that's a skill. So big up Berta. I don't want to praise Berta too much. I think his job is important.
Yeah,
but
it's not just him. Yeah,
it's not just him. And I think ultimately we'll be judging the team on whether they win things at the end of the season. It's the personnel. But no, he's doing his job. Do your job. Everyone do your job. Mikel Arteta, manage. Berta, direct.
Yeah.
Players, stop goals going in. Everyone do your job, and we'll be fine.
Yeah. Hey, Berta buys the tools. Arteta has to use them in the right way, and the tools need to work. It's as simple as that, really.
And on that, finally, I'm not convinced Gyökeres was wanted by Arteta.
Well,
I think he was overruled on that one.
What I will say is that no player ever joins Arsenal without it being signed off by Arteta. That's for certain. And they don't ever bring in a player if there isn't agreement in the end. But I think that you're probably fair. I mean, I know for a fact that Benjamin Šeško was his preference of the two. And I think that probably comes from a technical level. I think Šeško is a more technically gifted player. I don't know. I hate that you went United, because we're never going to see at United the Šeško that maybe we could have seen at Arsenal. So I know people will be like, well, look what he's done at United. Well, I'm sorry, but that's never going to be a litmus test for any player, really.
True.
You know, so it's just not going to happen. We'll finish on this one from Matt G, who says, which of our 8 new signings will have the biggest impact, and which do you think will be the biggest surprise?
That's a good question, Matt. The biggest impact.
So we've got Kepa, we've got Christian Mosquera, we've got Christian Norgard, who both have a stupidly different spelling of their first name, which is so annoying when I'm writing articles. We've got Hincapié, who joined on loan, of course. We've got Zubimendi, we've got Eza, we've got Gyökeres, and we've got Madueke.
I think, can I pick 2?
Well, you've got, if you want, there's two questions there. The one that you think will give the biggest impact, and the one you think will be the biggest surprise. So,
well, in terms of impact, I think in a really roundabout way, I think Mosquera will have the biggest impact. Let me tell you why. I think Mosquera allows us to just rest Saliba and Gabriel more. I think it allows those guys to play 5 to 10 less games a season, so they can peak and be fresh for the games that really matter at the time of the season when it really matters. I think you're bringing in a guy that's on a level with those guys. He's brilliant. You're bringing in a guy that you can play. You know, this weekend against Crystal Palace, Tom. If we started the game and Mosquera was in, is he left centre? He's left centre, isn't he? Right centre.
Left centre. Yeah. Right centre, but can play left centre. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say right centre. So if he's right centre and Saliba's right centre, isn't he? If we started Mosquera this weekend and Saliba was, let's say, rested, would anybody be really worried or angry? I don't know if we would, but it means that Saliba gets, best part of a week off. So the next game we have, do you know what I mean? So I think his signing would enable us to keep the level high amongst our centre backs. The biggest surprise, I think, will be Eza. Not because I don't think people don't think he's very good. I think the second half of the season, the 2 most important squad players that we have, I think, are going to be Eza and Marino. They're going to have some big roles to play in the run-in in the last part of the season. I really do. I think Eza's found it a bit difficult to impose himself at the moment, but I think he'll get there. And I think once he gets comfortable, And I think once we kind of find a role for him, so I think this whole 1 minute you're playing 8, then you're wing, then you're 8, then you're 8, then you're wing. I don't think that's helping him. I think if we can find a role for him, even if it means he plays less games, but when he does play, he's playing this role. I think he'll cook. I think he'll do well.
Yeah, for me, I think Ezra's my biggest impact player. For me, Zubimendi is going to be the best signing. It's not the question Matt asked, but I think he'll be the best signing that we make. But biggest impact, I think it'll be Ezra, because I think that there are games that Arsenal struggle to win, particularly in the latter stages of the Champions League, like PSG last season, where the game is more open. And these aren't these types of games away at Fulham, where Ezra isn't going to thrive in those games. But in the latter stages of cup competitions, in finals, Ezra is a guy that turns up in those moments. And I think for that reason, impact-wise, I think Ezra will be key. Biggest surprise has to be for me, Madueke, because the petition that went around when we were being linked with him, like the amount of vitriol that man faced arriving at Arsenal, and from the little bit we've already seen of him, has given me such encouragement that he's going to prove me, others, so wrong. That I think it has for me being Noni. But I think Mosquera is a really good shout for that answer as well.
Just sorry, before we wrap as well, someone's mentioned Mateta. I've been saying for the best part of nearly 2 years now, a year, 18 months probably, Mateta is the victim of snobbery of fans that don't like the idea of signing a player for a top team from a team like Palace. Mateta is a very good centre forward. Again, he's not elite, but a team like United should have been looking at someone like Mateta. I'm telling you, but the snobbery will prevent teams from looking at someone like him. And I'm not saying I would have signed Mateta for us this summer, but if we were linked with him, I wouldn't have been mad at it. I'm just saying that someone in the comments has mentioned Mateta.
Yeah, for sure. No, I was trying to find it, but I think you're absolutely spot on. I think there are always players like that that get kind of overlooked and don't get the appreciation that they deserve. Because I mean, it was interesting seeing those Zaha comments about what was said in that interview, wasn't it, between those two, and how Zaha kind of responded. I do empathise with Zaha a bit, but I think there is an argument that Zaha probably could have just messaged him and been like, what the hell, rather than publishing a public video about it. It's a bit, it was a piece, it was an article. Like, it wasn't like Mateta went on interview and a video ended it. There's always got to be nuance with that. So yeah, but that was a mad one. Jordan, I appreciate you coming on the show, especially because I know you're not 100% well, and I know
no problem at all, man. Thanks for having me. Sorry I was late, man. I messed you around, and apologies. I hate
you're all good. People. Life happens. I know the business. It can be. It's a mad one. So for sure. But tell people where they can find you and what you're going to be up to on a Fabled podcast.
Yes, man. So again, a new brand new Arsenal podcast, the Loose Cannons podcast on YouTube and on all of your audio outlets and platforms. Check out my own personal podcast. It's not football related. It's called The Coolest Disabled in the World. I've got disability, and I interview and have conversations with people who are doing amazingly dope things, who happen to have a disability. And we have a laugh. We talk about all the things that disabled people, you don't hear them talking about. Sex, job loss, acquiring a disability, being the parent of a child with disability. And we have a laugh on it as well. So that's on YouTube. It's also on all of your audio outlets as well. We have an Instagram page too. Coolest Disabled. Go check it out. Those are my two pods. And for myself, if you want to see my workings at Channel 4 News, where I work, check me out on Instagram, Jordan Jarrett-Bryan. And yeah, thank you for having me on. I hope you invite me back on sometime. If I'm not annoyed all of your fan base with my opinions.
Oh, man, you're never coming back. I disowned you. No. I think
this guy.
As Sam said earlier on with his comment, it's, I think people appreciate when a point's put across that is different to theirs, but it's articulated well, and that's why I wanted to get you on, because you articulate your point so well.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to speak with you, mate. And when you put that, sorry to keep you just slightly a couple longer.
No, cool,
it's just when you put your tweet out, which I only saw because it's your pinned tweet about your podcast. I had absolutely no idea. No idea.
No one does. Nobody does.
And that's brilliant. That's
brilliant. Yeah, and I don't hide it, but equally I don't shout about it either. Someone asked me, I'll happily discuss it. I love talking about it. It's not something. Hi, I'm Jordan, by the way. I've got a disability. Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of people
honestly, it took me. I think I text. who is it I spoke to? It might have been James. I can't remember, but I was like, when I was obviously getting your number off James, and I was like, bro, like, I had no idea. It was so, I found it so cool. It was brilliant. I loved it.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, so please, listeners, go check out Jordan's podcasts.
Check them out, man.
They are
up the Arsenal.
Indeed. See, he does support them. He does,
yes, man. Look, I've got a signed shirt there. Oh, you can't, the glare, you can't see it, but signed shirt for my 40th birthday a couple of years back. And I got a certificate from Mikel Arteta. Listen, this is my team. I'm just not biased. I'm not biased. That's all it is. I give opinions, pro and against, even if it's my own team. But I love this team. Love my team, man.
Listeners, thank you so much for your time. If you would be ever so kind to drop a like and subscribe as well, of course. And if you're listening on catch-up on audio platforms as well, appreciate you listening too. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning on the usual 8 a.m. show ahead of Mikel Arteta's press conference, of which there'll be it might not be a long show tomorrow because I need to head up to the Shelby Realty Training Centre for that. Hearing all about, I imagine Eberechi will be dominating that press conference considering our opponents at the weekend. So I'm looking forward to that indeed. And just a quick shout out to Earl, who's dropped a super chat. He says, can you two big up my wife Zoe? Big up to your wife Zoe.
Big up Zoe. Big up Zoe. Old tight Zoe.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Speak to you soon. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, day, afternoon, wherever you happen to be in the world. Stay safe, stay happy, stay well. And as usual, up the Arsenal.